Hey there, beloved Ascension Pioneers. I'm back in nature with another update for all of us. So recently I was guided to do shorter segments of videos, which a lot of people said it's easier to take in. So this is what I'm trying in the new. As you know, we're always expanding. So these are videos that are focusing on certain segments of our already living in the new. So in this video, I want to talk about our sovereignty in the new. This means our inner strength, to live our power, to live our source self from our inner vortex, how to do that, how to cope with all the information, with all the new age, with everything. You know, this is kind of like a synthesis to my videos, which I did a lot of, of them about discernment and, moving through the new age beliefs and moving deeper within the truth, that is the truth of the divine that can only flow through us. So I want to culminate in all of that in this video, and I want to address this. And this week is especially important for this because we're entering a grand cardinal cross alignment, which is going to be exact from this week on, and then it's just going to be, propelling us forward. And it's going to be in alignment also with the full moon in Libra. So Libra, as you know, is all about relationships and how we are to all that exists outside of us, how we relate to things. So to be discerning, to be sovereign, to really live from your inner vortex is very important in this path. And I want to mention something because I wanted to record this video topic for so long, and I prepared a long list of notes, and I just kept postponing it, and the perfect timing never came. And so many times I said to all of you, I'll be sharing this video soon, next I'm going to be doing this. And I don't even have my notes with me because Spirit has shared with me last week on one of my nature runs, when I received a lot of downloads and guidance, that it's not even important to address it in the kind of manner that I wanted to address it before, and with all the notes and with all the topics and all of my research, because all of our research now is within us. And even though my research is something that has come to me on my path, yours will be different. But each of us will be living through our inner personal vortex, so it'll be important to have that horizontal, vertical alignment. So this cross alignment is actually helping us with this, to really live from that inner alignment, within all four elements, and building the fifth one, which is the ether, which is that spirit connection to your higher self. So I had all these notes prepared and everything, and the Spirit just showed me we have shifted already so far, and those of you who are tuning into my videos, that it's not even an issue anymore. So I really trust that everybody who's still walking through this and kind of shifting, and walking through that haze and the mystic clouds of the new age and everything that's shared out there that's not always the truth. Sometimes it appears to be, but as what appears to be is not always what is, neutrality, the truth. I trust that everybody will find what they need to find, and that everything is like, it's a perfect divine labyrinth, which we ourselves need to find our path through. So as we're building inwardly our inner discernment, we're also, because this is directly related to spirit integrity and to sovereignty, we're building towards that sovereign self. So why is this so important? It's because it's all there is in the new, Maybe before we were expanding through, looking through a lot of signs outside, outside of us, and who's the right master, which teacher is the right one, which one is the false one. A lot of people still call me a teacher, but I don't have myself as a teacher. I share what I'm guided to share. I'm a sorcerer, and I just share what Spirit guides me. So I just share the truth when it's guided to do so. But I wouldn't, say that I'm a teacher, because teaching is different on each level. And we're all always teaching and learning at the same time, and we're always expanding. But this is a very important question, and recently, a while ago, I remember I encountered this question, and somebody made a video on this topic, who's the right teacher, who you can trust, who's a true master and who's not. And even us asking this question, it means we're still somehow judging and categorizing others, even those who are not always speaking the truth with a capital T, as I like to say. Even those will kind of serve our journey, because if we're still guided to resonate with them with a certain part of the frequency and their message they're sharing, it still means there's something there for us, no matter what it is, if it's the truth or not. It will eventually lead us to the path of truth. So sovereignty in the new means that whatever it is, whatever kind of information, whatever your journey of your path is, you take it as it is without trying to define it. There is no need to say, okay, am I on the right path? Is this the right teacher for me? Because your heart will show you. And, the right teacher is always the one that will remind you of your inner teacher right now in this moment, as to how your higher self teaches you. I'm sorry, I'm moving a lot because there's a lot of, leaves, so they're very slippery. But I wanted to say this is so important. Sometimes the questions that we ask will already show us the answers that are already there inside of us. So if we're constantly asking ourselves, well, who's the right one? Who should I trust? Can I even trust anyone? And sometimes people even say to me, well, you're the only one I trust from now on. I always say, no, my darling, trust yourself. Because the true sense of trust is source. It is what we build from within through our inner integrity. And although there are people on our path that we will really, really resonate, we can't put all of our trust into them. They can remind us of the divine integral part that we also have, that we are in truth. And the more they remind us, the more we resonate with them, the more we find them sovereign and free and non-limited, and they'll be sharing the truth. But they'll just hear as reminders. So when we ask ourselves this question, who's the right teacher? What's the false? I was addressing these topics a lot in my previous years. Up until the point that I came into this inner sovereignty, that none of it really matters anymore to me. I'm sovereign. You are sovereign. We are free. And the wind is blowing. Wind is blowing now. It's telling us that this is how it is. When the shifting changes from within, will start showing in your outer reality as that outer change. And how much you will see you trust yourself. And the more you will trust yourself, the more you will trust the source to provide you with the right kind of thing you need at the moment, without being naive and sometimes too either hard-headed, that means not willing to always see the truth and you just believe whatever you're told, and you don't allow your mind to think on its own and you don't stretch it. Or, the opposite. So whatever kind of state you are in, it's always leading you forward the more you allow it. So Spirit just shared with me that in the new, our sovereignty in the new is all about always coming from our inner divine alignment, our inner divine integrity. So if we're sharing freely from our heart, we are being aligned. Sometimes people like to share what others do. They like to put out information others put out, and instead of just putting their own piece of the heart out. Because everybody has their own unique soul song to sing and a contribution to make. And we're not really sovereign if we're just copying others and saying, well, I'm supporting that. But in truth, we are here to support the uniqueness of source that we are. So when we look at sovereignty, and I was doing a lot of research on this topic, everything to do with the negative ETs, with the archons, with the false light agenda. I was also researching, I remember these, what are they called? The false, I don't remember now, but those who judge when you come to the other side in spirit. And all these things, and Spirit shows me, all that is still based on fear and separation and duality is not really putting you in your inner sovereignty. So sometimes these things are there. We're not supposed to ignore them. I remember when I was doing too much research, Spirit is, we're seeing. Our vibration is felt by those beings even who are not here incarnated this time. And they will feel the moment we will start breaking through the matrix and exploring into the depths of the truth of creatrix. Not the matrix which we have been plugging into for so long. And it will be felt. And there's a lot of beings who don't want us to, move into our sovereignty. So there will be things coming at our way. And I remember my example, one of them was when I was doing that research, just things started cracking up in my room and it was really creepy even. And I thought, wow, I can really see that something's shifting and somebody's not happy about it. And the next day I go online and I started receiving very negative comments to others, which were just channels for that negative energy because they still weren't purified. And it's these negative entities that were trying to tell me, stop what you're doing, you don't need to do the work, close the group, and all these things. And I was being told, because I was really opening the gateway to my sovereignty. I was starting to think, outside these borders. And sometimes it's important because the false love and light movement, which is all about just the positive side, will never really bring us to the depth of all that we are, beyond all separation, beyond all control. So this is where sovereignty really starts, when you start embracing the neutrality of who you are and the nature of source that expands through polarity. Not the same as duality, as I've often shared. Duality is what we make of it, through our perception of separation. Polarity is, the polarity of experience. You can either experience something as very contrast, dark, or something you perceive it as very light. But then when you'll master all these experiences, you will become a master of polarity, and you will just stand in the middle amidst all. You will be the master of it all. This is what we're doing now in this physical ascension process. But these things are not to be ignored. That's all I know, but they're not to be plugged into too much, so that you go again into the fear zone. Because there's a lot of people who only research that, they only delve into the dark side. There's people who only delve into the light side. The true masters, they don't allow themselves to get affected by anything, or anything anybody else is sharing, or saying, this is my truth now because this person really shares it the way I feel it. But still, no matter how much you resonate, you gotta find your own inner vortex. This is crucial in this ascension process, and to live in the new. So I don't even follow as much things that I used to in the past. There's maybe 3 sources that I resonate with, and even those don't always have the information that I say, well, this is 100% how I feel it. So I take it neutrally. I take it through my own heart resonance, and this is how I receive, through my own spirit connection. And everybody can do this, it's natural, but through the filters, we're actually blocking it. So if we have certain filters that will block us from knowing that this is natural to us as well, and we won't just be too exposed to everything in a very naive way, then it will come through us. So there is a lot of information that is either too light-based or too dark-based, and we got to find the middle point. It is really important not to ignore each side of the equation, but to master the true reality of what is the absolute, the divine plan of source, which a part of it also decided to learn through darkness. But we don't have to be a part of it if we feel that's not a part of our experience. We can research it, but we don't delve into it in a way that we become fearful of or attached to, anything like that. So this is what sovereignty is. No matter what's happening, no matter what's going on in the outside, what chooses, to come into reality, what you choose to come, and everything that transpires, you stand in the middle of vortex, and nothing really affects you in the kind of way that will govern you. You yourself are choosing to govern and navigate your experiences. So I gave you a few examples of what happens if you, for example, move too deeply into that. And I remember when I did that research, it wasn't really a pleasant experience, because there was a lot of aspects that not a lot of people would, at that time, if you share that, want to hear. There's a lot of things that are very, very dark there. But you can see it, you can tune into it, but you don't have to go into it. That's the difference. And not everybody will come to that information, because it would trigger them in a very non-expansion kind of way. It would be too much for them. They wouldn't yet have the emotional or mental maturity to go through that in a very neutral sense. So know that whatever you receive when you're moving into your sovereignty is what you want to receive on a soul level. You don't have to do particular research just because somebody else is doing it as well. Follow your guidance. It's going to give you the things that you need in the now, and they're going to be working with further. And whenever you're going to be ready for the next level expansion, this is going to come. So it's important that you always follow that instead of what you think you're supposed to be doing, what somebody else is teaching, what somebody else is saying. And like with me, nobody will 100% resonate with what I'm saying, and this is perfectly natural. We embrace each other as we are, but we still gotta walk truth. We still gotta do our own homework of soul expansion. I think it is really important. I think that's one of the aspects that a lot of us were going through these experiences in order to really ground and anchor the energy of the new. Because when I was reading books from Dolores Cannon, a lot of times these parts of superconscious that is, all permeating through all of us, were saying that those of us who are here to show the way need to ground these energies of the new, so that those who are maybe making a passage, who are deciding to move into the new reality, not stay in the old, are going to really do it easily, with more ease, with more flow, and because we're going to give them that sense of stability. So that's what's important, not just, share everything with somebody who's maybe not even ready. It will just scare them. So it's very important that our sovereignty is based on what we're ready for, but we don't really just wash it over somebody else's, energy space, because maybe they're not even ready at that time. So it starts with us, and it's our own inner journey of yeah, of research, I would say, but it's not really just research. Research kind of sounds like you're doing it scientifically. It means that you're connecting to your spirit and you're just tuning into, how does that feel for me? Okay, how does that feel? Okay, how does this feel? Well, it feels, a lot of it is true, but at the same time I feel a lot of fear behind it. Okay, what's that all about? You know, that's sovereignty. Exploring energetically and through your feeling senses, through everything that you're being shared, you know, that's being shared out there. So this is really important. So this is it for today, because I want to keep these short as I can, although this is very challenging for me, as you know. And yeah, I have always so much to share, but I want to keep these like little synthesis of everything we're going through, and that we're now really grounding and embodying in this new reality that we're creating and showing to others. So when you're being an example for others, remember these crucial points, and remember in non-separateness consciousness, there is no such thing as good, bad. You know, there's people who are really not advocates of truth, but that's okay. That's their purpose. You don't have to follow them. You don't have to judge them. You can move away. You know, you can see through your inner senses, your inner knowing, what this is all about. But still, you know, you don't have to make it all about them. It's just a path they're choosing, maybe. You know, and maybe you get afraid because, say, others are following, you know, they're following, how can I save them? You don't have anybody to save anyway. You know, maybe that's what they've chosen, and maybe that eventually will lead them to the next level of progression, because they're going to ask themselves, wait a minute, you know, something doesn't feel right here. So it's just a natural flow, you know, the ebb and flow of life and creation and soul expansion. So yeah, take care, and sending you so much love. And before I go, I want to also remind you that I share weekly spirit guidance and messages every Monday. I call these Magical Mondays. You can see that on my Facebook page. I have regular posts of my art, which you can see. It's not just, you know, for you to make custom orders, but also to tune in, to feel the vibration that's coming through, not just the words I'm always sharing, but I like to do that now through art. I'm expanding a lot through color, and studying a bit about that, remembering. And every week I will also try to have certain special offers, which I will also share about on my Facebook page, so you can stay tuned for that, okay? I just want to remind you in case you're not on Facebook. So have so much fun. I'm wishing you a lot of the new. Use this powerful time, this pivotal time, to progress, to really use that everything for your soul advantage, for your expansion, and that's it, you know. Not disregarding the others like they don't exist, but that still it will always be all about you from within to without. That's what I mean. Okay, take care. So much love. Bye.